DFCU Bank closed its last year book of accounts with a profit after tax of 24 billion shillings, which is a 67% drop compared to the 2019 recorded profit of 74 billion. Like many businesses, the culprit is the COVID-19 related economic crisis.
In a year when we've had a pandemic, the outlook starts to get a bit dimmer than usual. So the impairment grew from 14 to 30. So every business that was struggling, you start to take an impairment because the sector or the industry is actually coming down. I'll just give an example of the schools. The schools remained closed for most of the year. So that means any borrowing to the schools, you start to say the outlook is not as bright as it was, and it increases the probability that that school might default.
Based on statistics that we're getting from the Uganda Securities Exchange, the activity at the exchange was also badly affected and is still affected by the pandemic. We've seen a sharp decline in both volumes and value at the exchange. I think at one point the decline was up to 80%. So this did not spare us.
For the DFCU Chief Executive Officer, preparation for the post-pandemic period is already underway and looking good.
But also to prepare ourselves for the post-pandemic recovery, because we're aware that we need to have the bank in a strong liquidity position, in a strong position in terms of management of the portfolio quality, etc. But also being very close to the key sectors. We're meeting members of school associations, etc., and all of that, just to try and see that we understand the pains that businesses are going through, so that come post-recovery period, we understand what we need to do to support these businesses.
Regardless of the large drop in profitability and subject to the Bank of Uganda approval, there will be some dividends for shareholders.
And as the CFO mentioned earlier, 50.33 per share, shillings per share, is actually the second highest we're actually paying out.
So far, the banks that have released their results are showing reduced profitability as opposed to total losses, which given the times is something to write home about. Ismail Musa, Ladu, NTV Business.